Good afternoon, badass artists. I'm Mia Luyando. Today we are back. We are working in our newest book, Luna. We have been working on this cute little Luna moth fairy for a couple of days now. This is our third installment, so I thought we would just jump right on in. We have Fiona the fairy here with us today. She's letting us some good fairy mojo, so let's dive right in. I'm going to zoom us in. If I can get us to zoom in. Let's see. My camera's being grouchy today. Let's see, there we go. That's much better. Okay, so we've been trying to get this sort of iridescent shimmery green skin tone going, and we've been using Faber Castell Black Edition and the Faber Castell skin tones. So far so good. I'm happy with it. Right now we are going to jump back in, and we have been using number 747, obviously one of my favorites. It's kind of on the short side. I'm just going to jump in and very lightly continue on filling in the flesh tone. I'm just kind of filling in the rest of the grayscale. This is the color that I want the rest of her face and neck to be. So, you know, just grab a chair, grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a snack, get comfy. And I am just going to fill this in while you're getting comfy. So glad you could join me today. This is just kind of some busy work. Nothing much to explain right now. Just remember, when you do reach an area that has, you know, blue and green, you do want to bring your flesh tone up into that area just a bit so that it all seems to kind of blend in together. And if you have some edgy parts, you know, if it doesn't look like it's blending too softly, we can go back in later with the blue or the green and soften that up. Just, you know, use a light hand. You can make her as dark or as light as you like, or you can continue on and make her entire face blue-green. I think that would be really neat too, and I'm sure in one of these portraits in this book I will probably make the entire face this iridescent shimmery blue. I think that's really pretty. But I just wanted this one to be kind of a, you know, not 100% green, but kind of a, I don't know, one of those morphing skin tones. I don't know. But I'm pleased with it so far. I think it's looking really good for us. The Faber Castell is a very soft pencil. It's easy to work with, very easy to blend. It's a wax-based pencil. They're really good on darker grayscale and black paper. They're made to show up very vividly on darker papers. So if you're like me and dark grayscale is your preference, this might be a good set for you. And just kind of easy going as you get close up to her lip. Remember just to keep working your way down into the colors that were before. That's the beauty of these small circles. It just sort of scoops up the color that's behind it and blends it in really effortlessly. And someone commented that they had received a book and when they blended it that the ink had smeared. If you get a book like that, that's a defective book. That means that when Amazon printed it, they didn't have enough toner or something like that. Something was missing when they printed it. That should never, your book should never smear. You should never have ink on your hands, and your ink should never smear when you're trying to blend it, ever. So if that happens, if anyone out there ever gets a book like that, definitely contact Amazon right away. Even if you've colored in it, even if you've already colored in it, that doesn't matter. You have 30 days to notify Amazon if something's wrong, with your product. So, just give them, I think there's like a little area in the back that says, problem with your order, returns, that kind of thing. Just let them know that the item is defective. They'll ask you what's wrong with it, and just tell them that that your ink is smearing whenever you move your hand across the paper, or when you're trying to erase or blend or anything. The ink should be set. It should never move once it's dry, and if it does, then that's a printing error. Amazon will replace that for you right away. So yeah, definitely. If you ever get a book that's printed too dark or printed too light or has lines in it, once I send the file to Amazon, it's it's really out of my hands. I trust them to print it the right way and send it to everybody perfectly. And if they don't, then that makes me really sad, because I put a lot of work into my books. So if you receive one that's not printed perfectly, that's another reason why I put a link to the flip through in all of my descriptions. You can link to that and look at me flip through the book, and you can see absolutely every single page that's in your coloring book and what it's supposed to look like, so that you can see every little detail and how it's supposed to look. So if you get your book and you're like, oh wait, this looks way too dark, or this is way too light, I can't see any of these details, then you'll know. You'll know exactly what your book is supposed to look like. And if it doesn't, send it back. And I don't care if they send you another bad book, send it back again. No, normally I don't have these problems, but it's years ago when I first started, there were some printing issues, and I had problems with printing more often. But over the last year, I really haven't had a lot of problems with Amazon printing. They've really gotten better, and I've felt really more optimistic with their printing services. They've done much better on their quality control. And I'm always happy with the fact that they're willing to replace a book that wasn't 100% perfect every time. So, you know, definitely you guys out there, if you get a book and you're not, you know, if it's printed wrong, if it's got lines, if it's too dark, if it's smudgy, you know, that's not right. It's not supposed to be that way. So, you know, definitely send it back and get yourself another perfect copy, okay? Okay, I think we have our skin. I think we have our skin tone right now. Let's see. Are we satisfied with that? Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. Okay, so I'm going to grab kind of a grayish brown color. And I know you're probably thinking grayish brown, but I'm going to go up here to her hair. And her hair, let me show you the cover. This is actually on the back cover of this picture. Her hair is white, but the best way to get something to look light is to add dark. So that's what we're gonna do right now. This came out kind of overexposed. This is a good example. This book was printed really perfectly. I don't really have any complaints about this book, but this is one picture that came out a little bit overexposed. You can't really see the details in her hair, and that, you know, that very well could have been my fault, because all the other, you know, everything else in this book came out perfectly. All the little details are perfect, so I can't really complain about one picture, but you know, and that might have just been my error on that one. But it's just her hair, and I'm here to, you know, show you how to make it look like it does on the back cover. And this is one that I was working on over the weekend too. I used Neo colors on the background. I had a lot of fun with her. Okay, so back to the hair. I grabbed this kind of a brownish gray. It's definitely from the skin tone set, I think. No, this one's a super soft. This is number 788, but it's also in the skin tone set. This color is in 2 different sets. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here to her little headdress, and I'm just gonna kind of grab and pull, just like we do with her eyelashes, and when we're doing like the long strands of hair. We're gonna do this. We're gonna add this darker colors in, kind of like shadows. We're just going to kind of add this in. And I'm just kind of pulling these little streaks through here because her hair is pulled straight back. Excuse me. Okay, now let's move on to this gemstone here. And how did I do it on the back? Oh, we made it blue. And we don't have to follow this exactly along. I thought it would kind of be pretty, maybe a brighter greenish color. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to pull a couple of colors out of here to work with, so I don't have to keep reaching over. I really set my pencils up badly today, guys. Sorry about that. I was trying to reach over. Okay, so I've got this darker green color. It's number 709. It's kind of a grassy green, but I'm going to go around the outer corner of her little gemstone here. I'm going to add some little facets in. Now, these are also encrusted, kind of with little jewels. Well, that seems like a good start. That's really good enough. Let's balance this out over here. Okay. Now I'm going to get kind of a medium green, and this one's got a little more yellow in it. This is number 780, or no, I'm sorry, 766. And I'm just kind of bringing this in. It's not a huge difference, but there's a little more yellow in it. Now I'm going to go with kind of a lime green. This is number 779. And I'm going to add that to this very light part right here. I'm going to kind of add this all over. Now I'm going to put this color underneath over here, the lighter green on this side. Now on this side I want it to stay that bright vivid green, but on this other side I'm going to go back to that medium number 766, and now I'm going to go over it again. Not completely. I want there to be some differentiation. Almost like a little beetle kind of. Now these we'll build those up and leave the top shiny for the reflections, but we're definitely going to work in 2 or 3 different colors of green on these. I'm just kind of touching here and there right now. Go back to this darker one. And these are sometimes, they don't really look really great until you have the metal seated in next to them and you're like, oh, okay, I see that now. So we're just kind of doing the first round on the gemstones here. Okay, now we kind of have to decide how we are going to do her little wings. And I thought, let's try some Neo colors. That'll be a lot of fun. And then we'll go back in and do the metal, her metal headdress, and we'll touch up the gemstones and everything with pencils. So I've got them set out of here. Get rid of these pencils real quick. Get myself a using Caran Neo colors. And for those of you that haven't ever used those before, they're like paint in a stick. You just color, and then you add a damp brush, just very, very lightly damp, and it turns to the prettiest, most vivid paint. And I'm going to grab my brushes. And I just use a little mop brush. There's nothing fancy. I got it from Amazon. So while that is just sitting damp, let's see. I'm gonna grab this. It is yellow green. And I'm gonna add this color here. And I'm going to add it down here. The biggest thing with Caran d'Ache, or with Neo colors, I mean, is just planning ahead, knowing kind of where you want your colors, or even if you don't, you know, just sort of placing them here and there, and you know, you can always go back and add more. They're really fun to use. Now I'm going to get this light blue, and I broke it, so the other half is in the tin still. This is turquoise blue. You can see the name right there, turquoise blue. And I'm going to add that right in here. I'm just kind of placing it around randomly. I really don't have a plan with this per se. And I'm going to get this kind of, this one's broken too. I'm terrible with these. I break them terribly. This one is, what is this one? Cobalt blue. Cobalt blue more down here, I think. Just called emerald green. I'm gonna kind of just, like I said, be strategic, and we can go back in and add wherever we feel like we need to. We can also go back in and add with pencils once it's dry. As her hair. Let's do this over here. And we'll probably just fill this part. We'll just fill this in as her hair. Okay. So I'm going to set the Neo colors aside. And I'm just going to grab my zoom out real quick. And I've got my little thing of water here. And Neo colors are fun, and you just don't need a whole lot of water is the thing. They really go one of the best things is, you know, having them on hand. Let me show you. Hang on. Oh, I locked myself out. Here we go. You can take the Neo color, and if you want to add more color, you just touch the tip of it, and suddenly you have more paint, and you can add it. Or Caran DAche makes this nifty little palette. You can just color. It's kind of got a texture on it, and if you scribble on it and then you wet it, it turns into paint. It's really a neat little thing. Now, you don't have to have one of these. It's just kind of a fancy little gadget. I enjoy it. It makes it easy for me. I use it for actual, you know, paint too. Yeah, I enjoy these. I'm gonna actually do more of these colors and fill myself in as I go. Oh, I've got you shaking. Okay, let's go again. And you just don't really need a whole lot. That's probably too much. Let me dab that. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll get this as an underpainting, and we'll let it dry, and then when we come back tomorrow, we'll add more details with pencils. It's gonna be so pretty. And I'm really glad that we're gonna do that, because I've been wanting to do, you know, kind of a class on how to do details over pencils once you've finished with them. So now this is a little more brilliant. This is a brighter green. And we're just kind of giving these wings some layers. Now later when we come back in here, we'll use some, you know, some neon pencils or some metallics. We'll really zhuzh it up. But you can tell, you know, I haven't added any more water to the brush. It's just a little bit goes such a long way. And the colors are just so vivid. And don't worry, you know, it's paint. If you get a little too much on there, let it dry, and then we'll go back and we'll fix it. You know, if you're having trouble, don't be afraid to send me a message. You can send me a direct message on through Facebook Messenger. Just be sure that that you tell me that that's what you're sending, that you're having a problem. If you send me a message that just says, hey, I'm going to delete it, because there are a lot of really strange people out there who send bizarre messages, as you guys can imagine. But you know, if you send me a message that says, hey Mia, I'm working on a project and I'm having a problem, will you take a look, or can you help me? Absolutely, absolutely. Just, you know, give me a shout. You can also come over and join my art group, Badass Art. We're on Facebook. There are so many incredibly talented artists over there. Everybody's always willing to lend a hand if I'm out and about and I'm not in at the time. If you're having a problem and you're like, hey, does anybody know what's going on, or how do I get rid of paint, or how do I do this, or how do I do that? There's always someone around that's knowledgeable and knows what's going on. So jump over there. I will put the link to my group in the description. Come on over, join us. Become a badass artist. But I love these Neo colors, and I'm really getting spoiled with them just because, they're so vibrant and they're so easy to work with, and they last forever. It's just like, wow. And I get a lot of really neat. I like the effects that I've gotten with them. So, and if you get out of the lines, if you go over something, don't panic. Like I said, as soon as these dry, pencils go over them like a breeze. I mean, you can draw right over, you can color right over these. So, have fun. Just paint away. And then when we come back on Wednesday, or wait a minute, this will be coming out on Wednesday. So this week is Thanksgiving, but we will still have our video on Friday. And this one will probably be on Friday. And hopefully, if I am not traveling this week, and I don't think I'm going to be traveling until Thursday, I will finish this one on Wednesday so that we can post, and we can do this one Friday and Saturday. We will finish her for sure. So we will have a weekend project. Also, I'm going to be recording some sketching videos, how to work in your sketchbook and draw your own Lordell fairy. So how to do some faces, and how to keep your eyes and everything balanced and proportional and all the things. So it'll be lots of fun. I had lots and lots of requests on people wanted to draw their own little fairies and creatures, and I think that's awesome. I am happy to teach you how to draw faces and eyes and lips. I am happy to do that. So I am just kind of adding these colors in right now. We're just sort of scooping this paint up and adding it here and there totally randomly, because these colors are going to look good together regardless of where they land on the paper. So I am not too bothered about what color goes where, as long as I have a good base of some color in this little family. It'll save us a lot of time when we go in to do the detail on these wings. Now I'm going to come back with a gold gel pen and a white gel pen, and I think I have some iridescent stickles. I think I'm going to bring that and see what we can get into with that. But we're going to color the metal, the gold, and I'm going to do that with Black Widows. We'll finish her hair, and then we'll add all the little metallic embellishments, and we'll call this one done next time. We will have her finished. Okay, everybody, if you found this one helpful, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel so much. It only takes a second. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That way you'll always get a notification as soon as I post a new video. I try to get one out 3 to 4 times a week. Come join my Facebook group, Badass Art. I'll put a link to the group in the description below, as well as a link to all of the products that we used here today. I hope you had fun. I had a great time. I will see you next time.